24 hours, Georgians will be under a shelter-in-place order.
McDonald, though, said he did not know the man was handcuffed and was trying to use his foot to pin him to the ground so he could be handcuffed.
If your friends, neighbors, or local organizations are not complying, report them to us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Free Georgia podcast, the official podcast of the Libertarian Party of Georgia. My name is Cat Hartley, and as you can see, I'm rolling solo for this episode, so I hope you guys don't mind. So today we're going to have Andy Boldin on the show. I'm sure a lot of you know Andy, but in case you don't, he is the chair of the Bartow Polk Floyd affiliate. And he also does a lot of IT work for the party. So we're very grateful to have him in the party. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of updates having to do with the affiliate. They're going to be having some events that he's going to be announcing. And we are also going to talk about the new CRM program that we're going to just updates to the CRM. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting episode, so I hope you guys stay and watch the whole thing. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. Hi, Andy. Welcome to the episode.
Hey, well, glad to be here. I almost said welcome to you.
No, I do that sometimes, especially like when I'm boarding a plane and they're like, enjoy your flight. Sometimes I'll be like, you too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you are the chair to the Bartow Polk and Floyd affiliate. So I actually obviously have not been in the party that long and don't know how these affiliates came to be. So can you tell me how and when this affiliate came together?
Yeah. So I know my participation started around maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right during the kind of the COVID stuff. During that time, I was kind of unofficially, I called myself a libertarian, but I wasn't really official, right? And so I just happened to run across a page where Mitch Johnson, who's on the executive committee with me and was the chair at the time, was setting up monthly meetings. And so I joined, and it was just him and me, right? And he and I really worked together over the past few years and grew it to what it is today. So he's my vice chair. I'm the chair. Sergio, who you had on not long ago, is our secretary. And then my wife, Stephanie, is the membership director. But yeah, we've just seen solid and consistent, albeit slow, growth over those 4 or 5 years. Before that, I don't know, right? I just don't have the history there, so I couldn't talk too much about it.
Okay. And was Mitch at the convention?
Yes, he was. He,
Okay.
trying to think, he and I don't know if you saw the donations for the auction, but he and I got together and put in the silver coins and the silver stuff. So he and I put
Oh yeah,
those together.
that was a popular
It was.
popular prize. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some really good bids on it. So I'm glad it worked out.
Okay, awesome. So you said that you were doing some events for the affiliate. Would you mind sharing
Yeah.
those?
Yeah. So back when I became, I guess, vice chair, we did our first annual kayak river cleanup. And we weren't planning on it being annual at the time. We just said, hey, there's a need. There's a section of the river, and I don't even know which one. We have 3 rivers here in Rome. I think it was the Etowah, but I don't know off the top of my head, where there's this entire section where people just kayak and tube down that part of the river like all summer long. And because of that, people are trashy, right? And they leave trash everywhere, and we try to say, leave no trace. But the first time my wife and I did it with the kids, we were like, man, there's a lot of stuff out here. We really need to be, taking better care of our environment. And so we started doing that, and we, at the end of the season in the fall, we just now get together. We're planning our third annual one now for this upcoming fall. And we just go through and we kayak and have fun and talk liberty with people who want to join us, and pick up trash along the way. And it's in partnership with Keep Bartow Beautiful. So that's the one thing that really kind of started this more volunteerism type of activities that we do. On top of that, we found that the Rome Emperors, which is a minor league baseball team, they're the feeder team for the Braves. They have a baseball stadium here in Rome, and the concession stands are, staffed by volunteers, and the volunteers are for Habitat for Humanity. So something like 10 or 15% of the concessions revenue goes directly to Habitat, and then any tips from those concessions would also go to Habitat. So we've done that several times, where we just staff and have fun working the concession stands as a group. And, every season you can pay for right around 3/4 of a new home just from the concession revenues that goes to Habitat. So we do that, usually at least once a year, but usually we try to do 2 or 3, maybe more. And that's throughout the entire summer. And we're planning one now for, I think it's June 20th. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but somewhere around that time. We also work with Edgar over at Osprey Shooting Solutions. So we host and kind of help sponsor that range day event. So LP Georgia goes out to Osprey Shooting Solutions, and Edgar trains people on firearms instructions, right? So, there's usually 15 to 30 people there that we get together, and it's a good time to, see people face to face that you only see once a year at convention. And it's just a good time to get together and have fun.
I told my grandma about it. She actually recently joined, I forget what it's called. It's like women, like armed women's
Mhm.
society or something. And so she's excited about that. I think we're gonna try to go. I don't have my own personal firearm. Obviously she does.
Right.
So, and I've never shot a gun before. So,
It's a
I haven't
blast.
signed up. Yeah, I haven't signed up yet. I don't know how many spots are left, but yeah, me and her are gonna try to see if we can go to that too. Isn't it, you said June or
I
May?
don't know the date on that one. I want to
Okay.
say it was right around Father's Day. It was like the weekend before or after Father's Day, if I remember right. But that one is always fun, and he does private training and all kinds of other good stuff. And I'll tell you, the first time I went to that, I learned more in that couple of hours event, where I was just doing things wrong. I had like foundational things wrong, like my grip and everything else. And you go in thinking, yeah, you're just going to have fun, pop off a few rounds, and have a blast. When in reality, it's actually educational, and he's got the heart of an instructor, and he cares about safety and all of it. So yeah, I would strongly recommend it.
Awesome. And with the other events, how many people usually show up to those, like the cleanup and the volunteering?
Yeah, so it varies wildly, right? A lot of it is based on availability, because a lot of these things happen on weekends. And it's usually on weekends where there's people that are like, off on vacation with family on Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend. And, so it varies wildly. For the Kayak River cleanup, we've had as few as like 2, and as many as, I think our biggest one was like maybe 6. So, and
And
it's
that,
still fun, right? It's usually a smaller group is actually easier to deal with, and it's a lot more fun.
yeah, and that's something that, is easy to do because uh, you know, organizing events can be costly and stuff like that. So like having volunteer work and stuff like that is really easy. And also, if you see people along the way, you can, talk to them
Exactly.
about libertarianism and everything. And
Yeah.
doing that stuff out, where you can actually interact with like the public is really good for the party. Yeah, we last, or I don't think it was last episode. The episode before um we had Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Sorry, I have so many people on the show. Oh, Pat
Right.
Ford. Sorry, Pat Ford. He does the Libertarian Mutual Aid.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
and yeah, it kind of inspired me to try to think of ways that my affiliate, the Fulton affiliate, can do more like community outreach in more of like a volunteer type way. Because we'd have our meetup, and I think your wife came to our not our last meetup, but the meetup before that,
Yes.
at
Yeah.
the Mutation Brewery, and that's one good way to talk to people. But I would like to do something that's more like giving back to the community. So
Exactly.
we're having our business meeting in a week and a half, I think. Yeah, and I've been kind of busy, but before then I'm trying to like think of something that because that's Brian and Zane, and who else is in the affiliate? I can't remember right now. But like I'm trying to get something where I know that they would have time to do it and would be able to do it and also would enjoy doing it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough. Like a lot of times you just have to go around and do activities as yourself or with your family and say what's out there, do it yourself. And then if you like it and if you feel like others might, then you can kind of focus in on that area. And that's one of the things that we've done is, my wife and I moved to Rome here, I guess maybe about 5 years ago. And we didn't really know many people out here, right? So we just kind of got out. My wife is involved with with volunteering for the Rome Little Theater, and they do like productions of plays and stuff like that. And I think we just went to one of the SpongeBob musicals. It was kind of fun. And then,
Is
but
it
we'll do
good?
like
I can't
it was actually
imagine
decent. Yeah,
SpongeBob as a theater thing.
yeah. And it was surprisingly good. And having live actors pick up the personalities of this TV show that you watched, years and years ago, it was pretty fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Excuse me, I'm trying to get over a cold. My allergies are really bothering me today.
You're good. I was actually working a rodeo yesterday and I'm allergic to horses.
Oh
So,
no.
yeah, I forgot to because I was gonna pick up allergy pills like on the way, but thankfully I had a hefty break in between like two of the shows. So I was getting allergic like in the beginning and then I was able to go pick up an Allegra. But yeah, no, like allergies like really I especially whenever the pollen was really bad. Thankfully it's gotten better. Like we're
Yes.
kind of over it. But yeah, I hate having
Yeah, it's on the
allergies.
downswing now, and I made the mistake of cutting the grass yesterday, so it's like really starting to bother me again, and hopefully it'll clear up here in the next day or two.
Yeah. Um, okay, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about regarding the affiliate?
Yeah, the other topics that aren't really like annual events that we're trying to get really involved with. We've had, and I don't know how familiar you are with this, but Forever Chemicals or PFAS. Aaron Brockovich just came and gave a talk on that in both Dalton and Rome. So the history of that is that carpet manufacturers and large manufacturing facilities would do their normal business operations, and this was like decades ago, right? And so what they found was that a lot of the chemicals that were used in those manufacturing processes, they would just be laying out on like stainless steel tables, and then at the end of the day the workers would come in and just hose everything off and it would go down into the drains. Well, those chemicals then get into the water system, and those chemicals are found to be very, they're called forever chemicals because your body can't flush them, right? And so what we're finding is that there is unprecedented levels of these forever chemicals in our water. And so we're looking into that. This is something relatively new that I didn't know about. So that's something that we're really looking into and trying to find ways of being able to help educate our community about. Obviously, we aren't going to be as good as Aaron Brockovich, but here at the local level, it's something that's really important. Because it is an environmental issue, and it's something that needs to be spoken about. Additionally,
Is
we have,
he
yeah,
is
go
he
ahead.
in the party? Aaron?
No, Erin Brockovich is, you might have seen, there was a movie about her, and it was Julia Roberts. And, but
Oh,
she,
yes, I've seen that
yeah,
movie.
I think
Okay,
it was the
okay.
Flint water thing in Michigan or something. It was one of the water things up in maybe the Midwest. And that was kind of her claim to fame. Um, but she's now like an activist, and I think she has a legal background or something. But it was a surprisingly large event. There was quite a few people there.
You should watch the movie. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen like parts of it, but Julia Roberts does a really good job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it maybe 20 years ago.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
seen it since it first came out, so I do need to watch it again. Excuse me. But with some of the other things that we have going on is SPLOST, the special purpose 1 cent sales tax. So there's very clear guidelines, rules, and laws around how SPLOST funds are used. And so when a SPLOST is approved by the voters or the citizens, it is specifically for particular outcomes. And what we're finding up here is that um, there are there are funds that have been either reappropriated to use for different purposes, or that they just don't abide by the laws. They just go ahead and use it however they want. And so Sergio has been focusing on that. He's been doing a really good job at finding and calling out these irregular uses of SPLOST funds by the county. But we're looking into that further. Data centers is another big one. Between Banish Big Brother, the events that they've been doing, and some of the activities they're performing with data centers, open records requests for flock cameras and other surveillance technologies. All of that type of stuff is things that we've been kind of focusing in on. And of course, I would be totally remiss if I weren't to mention You Are the Power. So we're a big supporter of that. Stephanie is on doing a lot of work with that. And Spike's organization is just amazing. Some of the outcomes that they've been able to achieve, just here in Georgia, has been surprisingly outstanding. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of You Are the Power.
Okay. Yeah, we've talked about some of those things on the show. And yeah, especially with You Are the Power, the child like defects and
Hmm.
the what is it, the pediatricians that misdiagnose a child abuse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
sad.
mostly,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I know they do more than that, but mostly those are the episodes that because I've only been around for a year. Those are most of the episodes that we've done with every the representatives of You Are the Power.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been a great organization, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. I mean, I'm just a regular volunteer. Don't do near as much as my wife does. She's doing a lot more with it. But any chance I get, I'd like to, throw them a bone and bring them up in conversation because they're just doing outstanding things.
That's awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about with the affiliate?
Oh, I'm sure I could go on for another hour, but I think that covers the high points.
When you mentioned the 1% tax, in
Mhm.
which county is it? Is it all three of those counties?
The one Sergio's been working on is with Floyd County, which is where
Okay.
Rome is. Yeah.
Okay, because I noticed one time I went to Bartow County and I ate at a restaurant and I noticed that the sales tax was like 1% higher and I didn't
Yeah.
know why that was.
Yeah, it varies by county, and it's just a strategy, right? So some counties charge 1 or 2% more, and they lower property taxes, and then others charge 2 or 3% less and increase property taxes. So it just varies by county. I think I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think that's how it works.
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess now we'll transition to so you also do IT work for the party.
Yes,
I don't know all the technical terms, but
I got to
could
spin
you
around in my chair and put on a different hat, and then we can start talking about that. Yeah.
So one thing that you're doing is improving our CRM system.
Yes.
So could you explain what you've been doing with that?
Yeah. So the CRM, for those who don't know, that's the customer relationship management. And we use an open source tool. It's free, but it sits on a website platform, right? So when I was brought in to start helping this program out, a decision had been made that we would migrate all of our IT infrastructure that hosts the CRM and website platform off of National. So at the time, LP National would host all of the websites and the services and the CRM and everything else that the states use. I don't know how many. I'm just not that involved with the national level. But I was brought in to help implement this transition where we would extract all of LP Georgia's data out of LP National's systems and stand it up on our own. And so that has culminated here in the last few weeks. In fact, we're just wrapping up the last of it where we're standardizing some of the roles and permissions. I'm still trying to promise you I'll get you access here as soon as that's done. But we've got maybe another week or two before that wraps up. And then in the meantime, we're also migrating our credit card processing company from an old one to a new one that just treats us a little bit better in terms of fees so we can save a little bit of money. I say a little bit. It's over the years we'll probably end up, breaking even in terms of costs within months because the fees were out just huge with our last provider. So that's another, kind of big effort that we've got going on. And I can go deeper into that, but at a high level, I think that just kind of explains, what we're doing.
Yeah, I've taken over the newsletter, and
Hmm.
I guess the only way I can send out the emails is through the CRM. So that's
That's
been,
right. Yep. And it's all interconnected, right? So our email sending provider, and I'm not going to name company names, they're great. I've worked with them in the past, even if it's just a little bit. But it's all connected, so you can set it up in the CRM system, and you can use templates so that you can have a template that's used for everything, and you can choose which members you want to send to. If you want to pay, send it to non-paying, non-member people, or you can send it only to dues-paying members, or anywhere in between, right? So that's something that we have on our roadmap. So after we get done with all this activity, which has been ongoing for the past, year and a half of migrating everything to our own infrastructure, and we can control our own IT destiny. We're looking at building out, the capability for each of the affiliates to have their own website, all hosted by the state's web platform, so that I can create a template and then have a page that's dedicated to every affiliate. They can post and have full control over that site, and eventually they'll even be able to, the officers of each affiliate will be able to use that same email system to email just their members. So that's just some of the stuff we've got going on, but the foundation work is basically getting everything out of National and onto our own platform.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, whenever Elizabeth was showing me how to use the CRM, it felt a little like I'm not like I guess I don't want to be like offended, but it seemed a little hard to work with, especially with the email sending and the
Mm-hmm.
editing and everything. Will that be kind of the same, or
It
will it?
will.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's the same software. It's just hosted on our own infrastructure so that if we do need to make a change, we don't have to call or email National and say, hey, can you do this for us, please, please? Because we were at kind of their whim, right? So if they didn't have people that could do what we were asking them to do, or maybe they were working on something else that was a higher priority, we would just get pushed to the back of the line. And it's all volunteers, right? It's not anyone's fault. It's just a matter of you've got to prioritize. And so, the one thing that this does enable us to do is to be able to make those changes as soon as I can figure out how to make them, right? So a lot of IT work is Googling and maybe even using AI to say, okay, tell me about this, learn about it, figure it out, and then make some changes to try to do what people are asking. And, for me, I'm more of a networking and cybersecurity guy. So I don't know all of the ins and outs of, maintaining a WordPress website or a CRM system. So a lot of it is just me trying to research it and figure it out.
Okay, wow, that's a lot of work. I mean, I obviously don't understand like what the difference between your knowledge is and what you're actually doing with the CRM, but that's really cool that you're taking the time to kind of like go outside of your what you know to do this for us.
Yeah, and when people say IT, there is a vast array of different specialties. And most of the time, someone who works in IT can figure out other aspects of it. But other times, it's like, okay, this guy, he's a cybersecurity expert and that's all they know. That's a bad example because within cybersecurity, you have to kind of know how all of IT works in order to secure something. You have to know about it. But say maybe a network engineer, they know networking backwards and forwards, but they don't know how to run a website, or maintain a CRM system or do the operations that are needed in order to like merge contacts, right? You have 3 John Smiths. Are they all 3 different John Smiths, or is it the same person? And so those are the types of things that you kind of got to go in and teach yourself.
Can you list, I know you've talked a little bit about the benefits of us kind of separating from national.
Mhm.
Can you name some more that you haven't mentioned?
Yeah, well, the big thing is it just gives us control, right? So now that this foundation is laid, we can take it however we want. And the big part is we aren't reliant on anyone else. We can control it ourselves. So if other
And that's
ideas come up,
very, very libertarian of us, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, it's decentralized, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and the big thing is we wouldn't be able to do a lot of what I have in mind and kind of kicking around ideas um, without us first being able to extract ourselves and be on our own infrastructure. But in terms of the question you asked, the big thing from my perspective is number one, those websites for each of the local affiliates, them being able to view their own data and send emails out to just their local affiliate membership. Let me check my notes here because I'm sure there's plenty of other things that we could be doing, and I know we're already on the roadmap. But another big thing is there was an issue with compliance, right? So with our prior credit card processing company and being hosted by National, we were not compliant with 1 or 2 of the PCI requirements. That's the payment card industry. It's basically if you deal with credit card payments, you have to comply with certain aspects of it. If the requirements are there, right? If you have IT systems set up in a certain way. And the way it was set up in the old way was that we did have to deal with those requirements, and sometimes those requirements had failures. Right, we didn't meet 1 or more of those specific requirements, and so now that they are hosted by us, we can fix those. We can address those ourselves quickly before they are ever detected by some of the PCI scanning tools that are out there. Also, with the new credit card provider, those credit card numbers never pass through our systems anymore. So we don't even have to deal with PCI compliance, which is even better. But from a standard kind of cybersecurity best practice framework, we're doing things like putting in firewalls and making sure that there's just best practice for some of the cybersecurity controls that should be in play there. So we're having our own system that is more secure and that meets all of the best practices and PCI compliance and everything else. So I'm excited. I see so much movement. It's slow going because it's volunteer work, but we've made just such great progress over the past year and a half or so, and I expect to see more over the coming, maybe couple of years.
That's good. One thing you said, the credit card numbers. So why
Mhm.
were we seeing them before and won't be seeing them now?
So it's the way that the system was set up. With our old credit card processing company, they had to route through our website to get to the credit card processor. Now on our new site and with the new credit card processing company, it doesn't go through our site anymore. It goes directly into the credit card processing payment site. So we never have any card data that we process or pass through to anyone else. So it's just we just don't have it anymore.
Okay, awesome. I think people
Yeah.
will definitely appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, and it's a risk, and it's not a risk that's worth taking, right? Like, why have a problem there or a potential problem there when you can just offload it to another company and let them deal with it?
Right, exactly. Okay, and then the last thing that you had on there was any upcoming changes within the next year or two?
Yeah, and I kind of already talked to some of that. The
Okay.
big one of the bigger ones though is we're looking at adding a membership portal. So now that we host it on our own systems, we're looking at developing a way so that each dues paying member of the LP Georgia could go in, look at their payment history, look at their status. Hey, do I need to renew? They can change from recurring to a single time donation or vice versa. Um, and just be able to see their own history and their own have control over their own account. And I think that's something that was sorely needed. And we're working in that direction. I still think it's probably going to be a year before that comes into play, but just simply because it's kind of an order of operations thing. We have to do certain things before we can get to that point. But that's the big one, and I think that's going to be one of the more exciting ones that we have coming out.
Yeah, I appreciate that because Brian had to text me and tell me, that I need to renew my
Right.
membership because I completely forgot. But it would be cool to have a membership portal, and we could probably add more stuff to it, like being able to message people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking at something like that. I don't know if there's going to be a good way that's going to allow that. Not without maybe using something like Basecamp, but we'll see. I've got some ideas floating around, and I've just got to kind of talk with our hosting provider and see what options are most realistic.
all right. Well, that's most of what I have. Um, If do you have anything that you want to say to our listeners, things like especially people that are in your affiliate or that would be in your affiliate, some things that they can do to either join or help out, stuff
Yeah,
like that?
and what we're looking for is engagement, right? So I do care. Let me rephrase that. I was about to say I don't care if you join or not, but I would love it if they would join LP Georgia and be engaged. But really, just the monthly meetups, right? We go out once a month and get together and just talk liberty stuff, right? And that has consistently grown. When I first started that, it was two people, like me and Mitch, and then Sergio would be there from time to time because he was still brand new. And we're consistently, I think our last meetup, we had 7 people. So it's tripled in just a couple of years. But I would say, for anyone out there who is looking for building their own local affiliate is discipline and consistency. Um, Always set a date, announce it in advance, and be there. And you might be the only one there, and that's okay, right? But print off a sign, maybe a QR code to the website on it, stick it at your table, and sit there and talk. And if somebody else shows up, great. You can talk with them about it. People will walk by, see the sign, and ask you about it. People will walk by and snap a picture of the sign and maybe not ask you about it. But just a little, sheet of paper on your table that shows who you are and what you're doing. But here locally, I would just really love it if people would show up at the monthly meetups and talk to us. What do you want from us? How can we help you as one of our affiliate members do the things that you want to do? And that's what we're looking for, those demand signals in the market, right? Is to try to figure out how we can best serve our community.
Very awesome. Well, thank you, Andy, so much for being coming onto the show and giving all those
Yeah.
updates.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I am looking forward to the next time. Hopefully, maybe in another year or so, we'll be able to come back and talk to some of these things that we have on the roadmap and be able to announce that some of these things have come to pass. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. And I look forward to the next time. Are you going to be at the National Convention?
Yes, and I'm hoping to like be live like just the whole day like on TikTok or something, like going
Right.
around like talking to people and stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. Maybe like one of the days I'll pick one of the days I'll just go live and if people like it, maybe I'll do another day too, if
Yeah.
it gets traction. Because it'd be cool because with TikTok I think you can like save the videos so like people can see what the convention was like and kind of like seem like they were there because
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Kind of a point of view or perspective, first person perspective. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that'd be great. I'll see you then.
Okay, awesome. So if you guys haven't already, go visit our website, the lpgeorgia.com. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week.
All right. Thank
Peace.
you.
Mhm.